What were the things that were really critical that got you from the dorm room to the company you became?
And the answer is clients, sales. And I think that is the number one thing. And that's certainly the number one thing we focused on in that dorm room: sales, 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 bringing in the clients, bringing in the revenue. And the goal was within 6 months to be able to pay for an office. This was pre-internet. So it was cold calling and mass mailing, thousands of phone calls a week, thousands of letters a week. And then appeared at trade shows and aggressively went up to potential clients at trade shows. We put in crazy hours. The idea is to live in a way that maybe no one else would want to live now, so you can later live in a way that no one else gets to live. And I truly believe hard work is critical. I also think not being afraid of being rejected. And that's the whole sales thing, just making the calls and being rejected by 99% of them. But that 1%, that could take you to the next level. And that's actually very much what happened with us. We're making hundreds of phone calls a day. Maybe a couple of them would result in someone who was interested in us. And then, there was a time when one project took us to the next level. Our first $1 million project with JCPenney, taking them global, or a legal project that started from a letter we sent out. So you may get 99% of the people not interested, or 99.9, but just don't worry about being rejected on the phone or by the letter, because if you deal with rejection, it should be fine. It's no issue. That's part of sales. And then not being afraid of taking a risk. Take a risk, because all of you, if you're starting a company, you're doing something that's not the safe choice, but when it pays off, it's so amazing, and it's likely to. And then, as far as spending money, and this wasn't from getting, my MBA in finance, I learned this. It was instead learning by doing. Putting the money into sales and marketing was critical for our success, and I highly recommend it. The reason our company was successful is we were all about sales, bringing in the business, and making sure we kept clients. It's a lot easier to keep a client than to bring in a new one. It's a lot cheaper. Once we got a client, we did everything we could to keep them.
Yeah, you also said that you wanted to keep clients happy.
Oh, absolutely.
What happens when they're not happy? What do you do?
It happened to us all the time. And I think it is very important, if they're unhappy, getting on the phone with them or meeting with them in person if you can, and being extremely apologetic. I don't agree that you're not supposed to apologize. I think you should apologize. It's all about service, and the client is always right. The customer is always right. So apologize, and then immediately fix the problem, and then let them know what you're going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. I think all those things. And then turn it into a situation where, yes, you dropped the ball, you were late with a project, or you made a mistake, but they think, wow, that happened, but the way they handled it, they are so great. There's nowhere else I'd rather go. So turn it into a plus when something goes awry, as opposed to making it so they wouldn't ever use you again. And I think part of it is continually asking them for feedback. When we had our salespeople delivering the project, then shortly after, they would then send an email saying something like, how did we do? Is there anything we could have done better? There were times when it was a little tiny questionnaire, but that's the type of thing we would do. And then, in a nutshell,